And I am very excited to have these powerful, but most importantly, kind women that have given us their time. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to our global audience. Welcome to a powerful and very necessary conversation. Today, we're not here to celebrate empowerment, we are here to challenge it. And you know that I like a good challenge because the truth is, empowerment is not enough. And you know what? Even when we say the word empowerment, it's already limiting. It's like we need to empower who? We're already empowered, right? That power already resides inside of us.
Yeah.
So if women do not have access to the systems that create economic power, then empowerment really is temporary. It's just a motivational speech, but it's not real. And we are talking about making systems that really provide the support women need, not just to participate, but to lead and to shape. So to me, this is very, very important. I am Dr. Virginia Rivera. I'm the CEO of MAHILA UDHYAMI. I am also the Global Affairs and Events for International Internship University. I am a business partner at eVillage in India. And I say all these things because many times all of us have so many facets in our life. But the one thing is that they all intersect. And this is what is happening today. You will meet women from different industries that will intersect in this powerful roundtable. Why a roundtable? It's intimate, it's closed. And most importantly, I want you to feel interactive. If there's something that Jeanette says that really moves you, Elena, just, you can actually comment on it. But everybody has an allotted time because I respect your time and time is a gift for me. So thank you all for being here and thank everyone that is with us today. I want you to replay this. I want you to listen to it again because it's a very important conversation. So part of this conversation is going to move from inspiration, which is what we normally hear when we hear about women's empowerment, and we're going to move into infrastructure. Think of roads, think of energy, think of all these things that we invest in. I want us to think of women the same way. I would like to transition this over to somebody who's hand in hand with me here in Mahila Udhyami. So to open this global stage, we will begin with a woman who is not only shaping conversations, but building pathways for transformation. Our Chief Philanthropy Officer of Mahila Udhyami and globally recognized as a Glow Getter Mentor is Diana Richardson. Diana, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you all today. Good afternoon, Europe. Good evening, India. And good morning, North America. As I said, it's an honor to be here with you all today as distinguished guests and global leaders. Thank you to International Internship University for educating and activating global leadership, Global Festival for creating a global movement, and MAHILA UDHYAMI for designing an infrastructure empowering women through economic transformation. And there's a phrase we hear often, just like Dr. Virginia just said, empowering women. And while it sounds powerful, today I want to challenge it because empowerment alone is not enough. Empowerment gives women a voice, but economic power gives women a seat at the table. Empowerment builds confidence, but economic power builds choices, independence, and legacy. And if we're truly serious about changing the world, we must move beyond inspiration and into infrastructure. The gap between empowerment and reality. Across the world, we have made progress. More women are educated. More women are visible. More women are speaking, leading, and rising. But the truth is, women still represent a significant portion of untapped economic potential globally. According to the World Bank, women globally have only around 77% of legal rights that men have, which limits their full economic participation. And research from the International Labor Organization shows that women are still less likely than men to participate in the labor market, with a gap of over 25% globally. So we must ask ourselves, are we empowering women, Or are we preparing them for systems they still cannot fully access? Because empowerment without access is potential without a pathway. We can inspire a woman all day long, but if she does not have access to education that translates into income, financial systems to scale, business opportunities to build, markets and networks to nurture, then empowerment becomes a moment, not a movement. And this is where the shift must happen. This is not a women's issue. This is an economic imperative. So we need to redefine empowerment. And what it actually means is that empowerment is not just motivation. It's not just confidence, and it's not just a seat in the room. True empowerment is economic participation. And it matters because research from the McKinsey Global Institute shows that advancing women's economy and equality can add up to $12 trillion annually to the global GDP, $12 trillion annually in the coming decade. And it's the ability for women to earn, the ability for women to build, the ability for a woman to scale and sustain wealth. Because when a woman earns, she doesn't just change her life. She transforms her family, she transforms her community, and she transforms the next generation. So this is not just a social impact. This is economic transformation. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, if women had the same access to productive resources as men, they could increase farm yields by 20 to 30%, and that would reduce global hunger significantly. This is exactly why initiatives like MAHILA UDHYAMI are so important. MAHILA UDHYAMI is not just a program, it's a movement rooted in a simple but powerful belief that women everywhere deserve access to opportunity, not just encouragement. Through education, entrepreneurship, and sustainable philanthropy, MAHILA UDHYAMI is creating pathways for women, particularly in rural communities, to move from dependency to independence, from learning to earning, from participation to ownership. And I recently witnessed this firsthand on a visit to E-Village in Uttar Pradesh in India. Women who once had limited access to income are now building businesses. They're creating products. They're supporting their families. And most importantly, they're becoming decision makers in their own lives. That is economic power. And economic power changes everything. When women gain economic power, three things happen. First, households change. Women reinvest their income into their families, investing in education, health, and well-being. According to the United Nations Women reinvest up to 90% of their income back into their families and communities. And that's compared to only 30 to 40% for men. Second, communities rise. Local economies strengthen when women become active contributors. And third, systems shift. Because when women control capital, they influence policy, they influence business, and they influence the future. This is not just equality, this is leverage. So we need to shift from charity to sustainable impact. We also need to rethink how we approach philanthropy. Because giving is important, but sustainable giving is transformational. Sustainable philanthropy asks, how do we create long-term economic independence? Not temporary support, but lasting systems. Not aid, but access. If you'd like to get more involved in MAHILA UDHYAMI through sustainable philanthropy, you can visit our website, mahilaudhyami.org. We would love your support through thought leadership, boosting visibility, monetary contributions, and accelerating awareness. Because MAHILA UDHYAMI's foundation aims to boost women-led manufacturing, services, and trading. whilst encouraging self-reliance, financial literacy, and rural economic development. And this is not what Udhyami represents. This is what Mahila Udhyami represents. It's a model where empowerment meets opportunity and opportunity becomes enterprise. So let me leave this with you today as the Glow Getter takeaway. Let us stop measuring success by how many women we empower and start measuring it by how many women we enable to earn. Let us move from inspiration to implementation, empowerment to economic power, support to systems, because the future will not be shaped by empowered women alone. It will be shaped by women who own, lead, build, and invest. And when women rise economically, the world doesn't just change, it accelerates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diana, for setting the tone for what must be the new global reality and what we wanted to accomplish today. Because women are not lacking potential. We know that. The world is lacking access for women. Globally, women make up nearly 50% of the population, yet earn less, own fewer assets, like you just said, and remain underrepresented in leadership and decision-making spaces. Over 60% of the world's poorest are women, not because they lack ability, not because they lack potential or capacity, but because they lack access to systems that create opportunity. And this is what we want to talk about today. This is not a capability gap, like I said before. When you think of access, think of those that have the foot in the door. Normally, it's not us. So when access is built, women thus don't rise, economies grow, communities strengthen, and futures change. We just heard what Dr. Diana said. We need to create a mind shift. It's even in our mind. I think we still see women as intervention instead of infrastructure. We still see women as charity instead of what we really are. We are the building blocks. We are the building blocks. We build every single day. So now I would love to move to our chief guest. She is a powerhouse in global strategy, leadership, and transformation. A woman who understands not just success, but scale. She is all over the world. She is not only a member, but she is the leader of our global advisory board with MAHILA UDHYAMI. She's known worldwide as the destination diva because I think she is the person who's visited the most amount of countries, not just to visit, but to actually work, to exchange, to help, and to grow. So please welcome Linda Pereira. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Oh, I feel I have something to live up to now. I'm going to interrupt my conversation with coughing because I have a terrible cold, and only someone as inspirational and that I love so much as Virginia would get me to come on with runny nose and a cough. So let's just go for it. So thank you, and I'd like to make Diana's words my own. Thank you to everything that you do, but I personalize it because I think that too often we forget to say names, to personalize the action that is being taken. So I continually say, thank you, Virginia, because we have to personalize things until women are no longer considered the exception, the first, then we have to personalize it. It's very important. Now, this seems incongruous because I am actually the United Nations expert on the economic empowerment of women. So it kind of is a little bit marries very well with what we are doing, because we do believe, and this has been my fight for over 30 years, as Virginia knows, is exactly to do what Diana was saying. So moving from empowerment without systems, because that is temporary, to moving towards a way of truly building lives based on access, infrastructure, and economic power. We have to, as Diana said, we have to move beyond inspiration, and we have to start designing systems that actually create access. Here I have to say that to have more women in power, or more women in leadership, or more women in business. We need more women in business, more women in leadership, and more women with power. Because if we don't, it's not going to change. Because for one to have, another must lose. And this is the fear, that if it becomes across the board, someone, so our male colleagues are clinging on for dear life to make sure that they maintain this power. We're seeing it all over the world in its worst possible form and manifestation at the moment. So what we're trying to do at the UN, and marries perfectly with what we're talking about here, is shift from support programs, which are becoming irritating, just the name, support programs, which make us kind of feeble and weak, that we need to be helped, okay, to structural redesigning, where outcomes for women do not depend on individual motivation or one-off initiatives, but are built into how economies, institutions, and markets actually work. And this is the difficult thing. This is the difficult thing. We are transitioning from empowerment rhetoric to systems that produce economic power is a very difficult thing. It's very revolutionary. And again, here I have to say that women have never, ever, ever in history been given anything. Anything that women have, they have clawed for, fought for, stood up for. Nothing has ever been given. Even the laws on equality and equity have been fought for. So let's put names on things. Nobody has ever given us anything. But we have some good examples. So for example, if we're talking about financial systems that assume that inclusion is a given and not an exception, we have some great examples. For example, in Kenya, they have created a mobile money ecosystem which enables women-led micro businesses to access financial services without needing a formal banking history, which is very often where women don't have that. Even after divorce, when women, because the majority of women in business, women set their business up around the age of 50. Can you believe it? Usually when the children have grown up, or they're suddenly alone, or they're divorced, and they become great success. But their hurdle is that only 4 cents in every 100 cents goes to women's ideas or women's projects. And this is shocking. Then, of course, we need another infrastructure system, and that is childcare as economic infrastructure, not a private burden. Childcare must be an economic infrastructure. So, for example, in countries like Portugal at the moment, childcare in the first 4 years is absolutely free. Okay, so that if you, until the age of 5, you can have children, because that liberates women to go into the workplace, okay? And that is fundamental. So, okay, we have a mother and a father, but how often do you see men giving up their career for the children? Okay, it's still a kind of a mirage, okay? Let's not even, okay. So we need universal childcare systems, and you have great examples in Sweden and in France and in Portugal, where these childcare support is free. So you either get a place at a nursery, or you get a check that pays for nursery, so you can go back into the workplace. And this has to be designed into the economy as infrastructure. Then, of course, you have to have procurement systems that prioritize a percentage of women. At the moment, in European countries, 20% of all contracts that go to small businesses must go to women-led small businesses. This has been a game changer in many European countries, where women have never had the capacity to compete for these contracts. So economic power also starts with ownership rights. So land titling systems we are working on, because in many countries, land is still registered under the male heads of the household. That must change. Systems change where the titling laws automatically register the male spouse's name. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, even in countries that have modern laws. For example, I went to my bank to ask for I'm a business owner, my husband is not. This is 2026 in a modern European country. I went to ask for a loan, and the guy at the bank thought he would check with my husband if he knew that I was signing a loan. I mean, he said, my husband's answer was, you're in big trouble. I'm going to tell her, and she's going to come back and run you over with her car. So that literally, you have to train people, okay, for their mindset. And of course, labor systems that don't penalize caregiving or childbirth. That is absolutely fundamental. Okay, paid parental leave for all genders. In Portugal now, the mother has 4 months and the father has 4 months, so that you can alternate and both have access to the child. All flexible work laws that are embedded in the labor code and that allow parents, both parents, to access these opportunities. Education systems that are aligned with market pipelines so that people are not just girls in school, but girls in economic sectors that lead to power. This is fundamental, so that we create pipelines, because many inequalities persist. And in fact, we've done a study and we find that female teachers are as bad as male teachers in applying stereotypes in the playground and in the classroom, not because they're bad people, but it's ingrained into the culture and into the education. So there are so many other examples I could give you, but I'll just summarize before my Virginia hits me. And that is that the underlying shift has to be something that goes, how can we help women succeed? Okay, not that, but how can we implement strategies that will make sure that women are able to fulfill their potential, have access to financing, and have access to structural childcare and all of these things that they need? So we have to move from how can we help women succeed to why does the system require an exceptional effort on the part of women to succeed? It's not fair. Why do we have to make exceptional extra efforts in order to succeed? So we have to move also from support to women to designing models that have women as a default participant, from programs to embedded infrastructure, from access to ownership and flow of capital. This is fundamental, and that's what we are currently working on. And believe me, I am not a nice person when these topics come up, okay? So it's absolutely important that these issues become embedded and built-in drivers in how economies function. That is the only way that things will change. So stop accepting the word support, the word help, the word program. That's rubbish. We have to make sure that we get more women into politics and more women as drivers of change. And I'm going to shut up now because I could go on forever.
I love that you can go on forever. Thank you so much, my dear Linda. Now you guys know why I want to use the right word, but I would say idolize this woman. She really lives inside my brain, and she makes me realize that I'm never alone, in this quest. And to have all of you here around in this table is really, really important to me. And every single one of you adds something that is so important. So thank you, Linda, for this powerful global perspective, because it's just not from one place. As a leader of the United Nations in women's economic empowerment, you bring not just insight, you're bringing us reality. And sometimes we think that things are not happening. They are happening, but they're not happening fast enough. You remind us that this conversation is not theoretical, I'm sorry. It is happening now across nations, across systems, and across lives. I am sure Virginia is not the only one who thinks about this. There's so many of us, but when we come together, that is where real powerful. That's where real power comes in. Your voice connects the global landscape, which I think is so hard sometimes to really grasp and bring us all together, to the work that we need to be building on the ground. So I'm deeply grateful for your leadership and for grounding this conversation in what truly matters, real change at scale. And this is what we want to do. So I want to present the next person, and she came I'd say, recently into my life, and she doesn't know it yet, but she will be so present in my life so much more. And this is Elena Howard. She joins us as the newest director on the MAHILA UDHYAMI Advisory Board, bringing with her a powerful blend of financial expertise, global perspective, and a deep of understanding of innovation and impact. Her voice sits at the intersection of finance, strategy, and human potential, a space where real transformation begins. Elena, we're honored to have you here today. Welcome to this growing global stage. I want you to know that this ecosystem is here to support you. This stage is yours. Welcome to the virtual podium. Welcome, Elena.
Hello, everybody, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for our invitation, and I'm already inspired by the speeches that I've just heard, and echoing what Diana was saying and Linda as well. I may be zooming a little bit on my area of expertise, which is wealth management. I am a private banker all my life with 20 plus years experience. And all this time, I was also working with women and supporting them in their financial and family journeys as I work with families, helping them to manage their finances. And yes, I agree with everything what was said before regarding the empowering women, because we have already invested in women education, in financial literacy. We have been encouraging confidence, ambitions, independence, but it did not really yet close the wealth gap that we are facing now in the finance, because the simple advices that we were given always, like save money, spend wisely, invest early, it's actually not enough. And I'm echoing what have been said about the access before, and would like to move the accent a little bit further, as I'm saying, women not as earners, but women as owners, because it's not the same creating income and creating wealth. These are processes that go together, but women have to be part of both, actually. And income is not exactly the wealth. Wealth means the ownership, and ownership is an influence, and that what will allow us to shape systems and economies. And in that sense, I value so much now the discussions about the brain capital, and specifically the abilities that women also have from scientific point of view, not only financial, because I act actually in the intersection of finance, creativity, and neuroscience, trying to merge this together. And it's very interesting because when we bring neuroscience into the conversation, we need to be also precise, because there is no women brain or man brain. It's more similar than instinct, but there are some I can say patterns or tendencies that may be shaped by biology and experience that we have. And now our modern world is so much in demand of creativity, and especially in wealth management. It seems to be very far away from each other, these two fields, but just think about it. Wealth creation, business creation comes from the idea, from the creative idea of somebody, of the wish and desire and imagination of a person. And only then it's being shaped into something tangible, into the company, enterprise, and creating wealth and money for the family, for women, for the economy in general. So it all starts with creativity. And historically, women, and it's now supported by neuroscience, have been placed in between the not only financial rigidity, but also connectivity, influence in terms of socializing and supporting the families. They are champions in the empathy. So a lot of traits and tendencies that women have, they now not just like rediscovered, they're in demand by the economic system that we have. And this is exactly the time for us just to use what we already have. We don't need empowerment because we have everything that we need, basically. We just need to remember about it and just go outside to the world and try to be an equal, not try to be, but be an equal part of it as normal, to become a norm. That's what I was going to say. And strengthening these complex human systems, it can be also within our hands. We are becoming not just women with our creative futures. We have economic capabilities. And that's what's very, very important now. These are components of the brain capital, which I hear discussions about more and more now. Not that enterprising, trying to use people to create wealth, but they need to invest in people and in women in order for women and people to be more productive and then create more turnover in the economy. So it's a shift that we start facing, and I'm very happy to be a part of it and facing it as well. And what else can I say? I wanted to add that when we combine features like, for example, logic and intuition, or data and human design, when we do this interdisciplinary approaches, which I think women are champions of, because we have to manage so many things and lines in our life, then first of all, this has been historically associated already with women, and that's why we are so good in collaboration, in contextual thinking, in our long-term awareness and social intelligence. And now this is in a very, very high demand, and this is what global economy now requires. So I think that creativity without capital is like unrealized potential. And on the other side, capital without creativity is also a limited growth. And together they create wealth. And I see women being a solid part of that movement.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Elena, for that, I would say, deeply insightful perspective, because we still feel very intimidated about the topic, of wealth and wealth management, because I think that from the very early stages of our lives, thinking ambitiously and wanting to have money was a bad word. For women, it wasn't great to want to have more money, invest more, be owner. At the time, we had to be pretty and small and not create waves. I think every single one around this table today was not that person, and I'm sure we got in trouble a lot because we felt a little differently, right? But I want to thank you, because you've shown us that wealth is not only built through numbers. How many of us say, I'm not a numbers girl? Who said it? If you're creative, you are a numbers person, but through how we think, how we create, and how we make decisions, this will help our wealth. Bringing together wealth management, creativity, and neuroscience, like you said. And I think that I would love to give you an entire 8 hours so you can explain more. You've elevated this conversation beyond finance into awareness, into intention, into strategy. You remind us that true wealth begins and it expands through aligned action and intention. Things will just not fall into your hands. We need to make it happen, and we can be as creative as we want. So thank you again, Elena, for bringing this. And like I said before, I want to bring you back, and I really want to explore everything that is in that incredible mind of yours, because I think that 5 minutes or 8 minutes is not enough. So thank you again for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now we move into the intersection of education, innovation, and future systems. Representing IIU and shaping the future of learning ecosystems, I want to welcome Dr. Shruti Kulkarni. Dr. Shruti, the virtual podium is all yours.
Yes, thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all who are here for today's this wonderful platform. I always start my speech with gratitude to founder Advocate Piyush Pandit sir, my guide, my mentor, Dr. Virginia ma'am, and everybody who is present here. So a very warm welcome here. So myself, Dr. Shruti Kulkarni, I am working with IIU as a co-member as well as e-village core member. So today's topic is a very, very important topic because empowerment is not complete without, we can say, a financial independence. And this is very, very initial, we can say, step or basement to stand over here. So according to me, this we can say it's kind of definition of financial stability of women is definitely whenever the woman is uh, using knowledge, using expertise, using experience, convert into earning something for herself. This is the independence. So she can take her own decisions independently. Because according to survey in India, there are only 33% of women who are taking their financial decisions. So rest are depend on others. So this is the reality. And here in e-village, this is the very good platform, which is Mahila Udhyami, and the Virginia mom is taking ahead. So definitely, we all are here to try at our level best to develop such kind of a ecosystem, we can say, to become financially independent to each and every woman who is associated with us. So here, I just wanted to quote this a little bit thoughts, which is instead of creating empowerment programs, instead of that, we just provide a build systems which help to become a financial independence to every woman. Again, give a skills kind of a session. Instead of that, we should create income pipelines for every individual woman. And again, it's kind of motivation sessions. We provide revenue generation models for them. And I think this is really, really a wonderful platform here. We are just discussing on a very important, we can things. This is not a things, but this is important wealth related issues. And here I would like to appreciate to all of today's dignitaries, guests, and participants, and global leaders for giving their wonderful contribution and taking ahead for our the start of Mahila Udhyami and our all IIU. Thank you so much, Virginia ma'am, for providing me such a wonderful platform and just put my thought over here. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Dr. Shruti. The truth is that you have been there to support everything that we've done on the ground in India. Your work reminds us of the innovation is technology, but it's also building solutions that truly serve people and scale impact. Every woman, and you did something. How do we create an income stream or guarantee an income stream for every woman so she can live the life that she deserves and so she can insert herself in the system so she can actually have the opportunity to shape and lead? And as we speak about systems, platforms, and global access, we must recognize the visionary behind IIU and the person that allows me to be on this amazing platform. Advocate Piyush Pandit is a man. He is a founder of IIU and the co-founder of Mahila Udhyami, has been instrumental in creating ecosystems where education, innovation, and economic empowerment come together. Through IIU, he's like opened access to learning across borders. We're in 195 countries, 6 continents across. And through Mahila Udhyami, he is helping us build the infrastructure for women's economic transformation on the ground. So our headquarters, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it later, but our headquarters will be in e-village Kunda in India. This is what leadership looks like. It's just not ideas for institutions. This is actually collaboration. Men and women need to collaborate in order to have a sustainable future for every single one of us. So thank you for Shruti for representing IIU. Thank you, Advocate Piyush Pandit, for saying yes to a lot of the crazy ideas that I bring in because they're really not that crazy. They're just not known or they're not as popular amongst our male counterparts. But the truth is that they need to happen for us to have the world that we want. So thank you, every single one of you. I am going to now go ahead and start presenting our incredible global speakers today. I'm going to start with a woman. We spoke about neuroscience, but we really didn't delve into it, but we will do that right now. I want to introduce to you, and when you hear what the world calls her, you'll understand her impact. Martina Reyes is from Puerto Rico, but she really belongs to the world. She is known as the Mind Hacker. So Mind Hacker, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you, my dear friend. I'm here like mind-blowing with Linda, with Elena, with everybody that's been speaking. One of the things Elena said is, we need to train the mindset and stop using these words. And I'm all about words. Words can define your success or can define not people believing in you or trusting you or yourself, because the words, you are hearing them in their mind. I was once teaching a seminar in Denver, Colorado. And when I was walking down the stairs after my presentation, this young man came back to me and said, Ms. Reyes, you hacked my mind. I said, excuse me. He said, I'm a software programmer hacker, and you just hacked my mind. I said, can you elaborate a little bit more? He said, well, you just changed the perspective of belief that I had. And that's what I do with software programming. I just find the bugs and I fix it to optimize that program to make it more efficiently. So you just hacked my mind. Let me see if you can do it again. He asked me a question and I did answer the question. He said, he did like this. He said, mind blowing, you hacked my mind. So that's why I came out with that name. I really think I earned it in a stage. And some of my friends and my colleagues said, that is what you actually are. I think more as a human, I'm a human digital advocate and also ND human. People might say, what is an ND human? I'm a neurodiverse woman, and I see patterns and I think things differently. So when I hear people speaking, I can sense the message behind the message. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because sometimes we talk about empower and how to empower women, but I think it's kind of right now as a trendy thing. And I'm always saying, it's not about what you know, it's not about who you know, it's about how you convey your message. It's about you stand up in a round table or in a table of how you negotiate. And if you're willing to stand out of that table because you know it's not the negotiation that you're doing, it's not worth it, your time. So that is what I'm going to be speaking a little bit about, because sometimes I think they speak about communication and people think you had to be an extraordinary speaker and motivator and inspiration or educator with a lot of degrees. No, the secret is behind your words. And that is what I'm going to be talking to you. So I present myself, Martina Reyes, my dear Virginia said, and it's an honor for me to be here talking to you about women empowerment. We often speak about confidence, visibility, and access. Those things really matter. They really do. But I believe there's another layer, as I was saying you, that deserve a new eye, a new attention, more attention on a different approach, and that is language. That's what I always call it, your voice of greatness. I will always say to my client, I will help you find your voice of greatness or your secret behind your words, because words are not just words. The way a woman speaks about herself, her value, her worth, and her ideas are often reveal more than the content itself. It reveals how she sees herself, how safe she feels talking about her and taking up space, and whether she has learned to express her value with clarity to soften it before people are in the room. How do you see? And this really matters because women, sometimes they say, oh, I'm just trying to be a businesswoman, or maybe this is a silly idea. I don't know if you want to hear about it. And on the surface, it might sound harmless, even humble. Oh, that word, humble. I think I erased it from my vocabulary because it's misused. The poor word has a beautiful meaning and it's been misused for me. But underneath, another message is often being sent. The message with me, I'm stepping back from my authority. I am cautioning my value. I'm making myself easier to question before anyone else do. Or I don't believe in myself. That is not for me. I don't have the age for that. I'm too old. I'm too young. Especially when Linda said women over 50, what is happening with them? Women over 50, that's my market. That's my beautiful women that I work with. Women that are not ready to retire, but to reinvent themselves because they want to lead with purpose. They want to do a new business. They want to get more clarity to step into the world and leave their legacy. And that's what's happening. After 50, you have a ticket to the world to show them your life, your experience, and nobody can tell you what to do because you already done it. And now you can maybe teach it to others. So this is not a small thing because the world does not respond to what you say. It responds how you carry it, what you say. It responds whether the language sounds aligned with your value or behind it. And it's true there's sometimes many women are paying a hidden price, not because of lack of talent or preparation, but because they were taught to speak in a way that others feel more comfortable, not necessarily in a way they took the space, not necessarily because they were too much and you don't want to sound too direct. This is something very that I can relate. I'm a autistic, high functionally autistic. And if you know about the topic, as we see it, we say it. So I had to learn how to navigate through that feeling and analyze before speaking. This is why I'm so passionate about words, because we usually are very direct what we say. So what what we get lost is not the brilliance. What gets lost is the full potential of showing your brilliance through your words. So when this happens, the consequence travels far beyond communication. You know what? It can affect your trust. It can affect your leadership. It can affect the way you negotiate and even the way you have visibility. Sometimes people say she's too much, she's too loud. She's just her. She found her voice of greatness. And I think that's one thing that we have to teach more in the community on of women in business, and especially women. I was in an event a couple of weeks ago, and I was speaking with some colleagues from human resource, and I was just hearing this man saying a story that he was having trouble or problems with two of his employees. And there was this lady in the group. She's a very expert in human resource. And she jumped and gave her opinion that was not asked. And she said, and at the end she said, you will teach them who owns, who has the authority there. So what's for me, as my way of thinking, she was telling him, you don't have any authority, you don't have any word. And I saw his body language change. And he just looked at me, he said, Martina, since she gave her opinion, that meant he didn't ask, what you think about what I just said? I told him, and then I said, maybe it's not because they don't see your authority, maybe because they see you as a peer. So you may have to sit down and go over what their responsibility are and what are your responsibilities so they can understand, because sometimes they see you in a nice office, they see you well dressed, they see you in a nice car, but people see the glory, but they don't see the story behind it. So maybe you have to share that story with them. So this lady jumped and said, "Did you know that Martina is artistic?" Everybody's silence. And I just smiled at her with a lot of compassion. And she said, "Oh, that's why she's so brilliant." And the man just looked at her, silence again. And he looked at me, he said, "I would like to talk to you. I would like you to train my team." And somebody jump up and say something else and just break out the ice and the silence. And I felt bad for her. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel that it was malicious. I think she didn't even thought what she was saying because she didn't control her words. So it affects the way people perceive you. And we don't speak about that. We speak about confidence, we speak about potential, we speak about opportunity. But if you don't know how to convey your message, if you don't know how to be awareness of that, they need to be listening their own language and asking the question, what is my message saying beneath my message? There's always a message inside the message. That is the way I can sometimes perceive a person that is going to have success or maybe needs a little bit of help because sometimes their words will reveal a little bit of hesitation, self-doubt, fear, and being judged of what they're going to say without even saying it yet. Their mind are playing a trick. So training the mindset on your language, it's so important. So I think we will have to, by 2026, instead of thinking of how to get more money, how to get our hands on the room that is making the changes and the opportunity, it's how to get more prepared with my speeches, with my pitch sales, the way I hear and the way I analyze. And if I'm over explaining, if I'm avoiding to be too direct, it's anything that you think you need to be in a room. And one other thing is learning the skill of listening. I think that is one of the most important thing is listening, and the words that they're using, where are they using it, even the way they're dressed, everything speaks to you. Everything can speak to you. And you know what? To try this, there's a research that shows that women and men use differently language pattern because of social expectation, not because one is more capable than the other. Women may use learned language that's more collaborative and soft language, but while men are often perceived as more bold, as more direct. But once a woman understands the secret behind her words, they can shape them more consciously to match the impact they want to create. Whether woman or man, this is the real power that lies. When you use your words intentionally to open doors, they will be there. Even if you don't see the door is right there. It's like abracadabra for me, I would say. When you say that it connects honestly with the mind and the heart of the person that is hearing you, those doors, if they're not there, they will take a pencil and they will draw the door and they will give you the key. It's everything lies on your words. You don't have to be the best speaker in the world. You don't have to be the best communicator, the best motivator. You just have to be true to your message. Learn your words. Those words that when people hear your words, they say, there's a Martina's word, there's a Virginia's word, there's a Mariani's word, there's a Lisa's words. I have a couple of words that I usually use all the time, like mind hacking, that your voice of greatness. And people would say, have you been in Martina's event? And they're like, yes, because those are sticky words. So that is something that we have, as Linda said, because I really loved it. You had to stop using words that are making you little in a big room. You have to use words that you're here to make it happen, because I know how to make it happen. More than just money, more than networking, more than gathering with women and kumbaya. This is a real thing. Digital world, intelligent friction, everything relies on words. That relies on words. Right now, we're going back to the power of the words, the secret behind our words. So let's use our word wisely, and let's teach others how to use their words in a manner that they can make greatness for their life and for others. It's always a pleasure speaking about this topic. I can spend hours here, but I will let it to here. Thank you, my loves.
Thank you so much, Martina, for that powerful reminder. I think we forget. You've shown us that transformation doesn't begin on the outside. It doesn't begin with all the degrees or certificates that you have on your wall. It begins in the mind. The words that we choose become the thoughts that we believe and ultimately shape the lives that we create. And as women, we have been indoctrinated to think of what we deserve and who we should be. This is where you need to step out of that cage that you have and make sure that the words that you use are powerful, but most importantly, they represent you. You've helped us understand that when we learn to reframe, rewire, and lead our thinking, we don't just adapt to change. We become the ones who create it. And I think that now, as women, we have to realize we're not here to help. We are not here to collaborate. We are also here to design, to shape, to scale. So I'm really, really grateful for your energy, your insight, and the power you've unlocked in this room. It makes us think, right? So thank you again. It is my pleasure to welcome a leader who beautifully bridges knowledge, purpose, and global perspective. This is dear Dr. Srividhya Sukumar. She brings us a deep commitment to education, innovation, and human development, guiding individuals and systems towards meaningful transformation. Her work, wow, it's infinite. I mean, if you knew what she does, I don't even know when she sleeps. But it reminds us that true leadership is not only about expertise, but about the impact we create in the lives of others. So, Dr. Srividhya, I'm so happy to have you here with us today. I can't imagine this program without you. The stage is all yours. Please join.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. Well, I'm so fascinated by the quote that welcomed us all today. Women are not waiting for empowerment. We are building in the systems to make it real. Really, that was a very powerful quote that you have mentioned today in the group. And on that note, please allow me to add some more to that spice. So empowering women, as we all know, as we have listened to so many eminent personalities across the globe today, involves fostering confidence, resilience, and equality. And some of the quotes which I would like to add or to begin with is, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman. And empowered women empower women. Those who are empowered already, they know the importance of it, they know the significance of it, and they empower the other women. And that's how we are all gathered here on this podium today. And the question is, who is going to let me, or who is going to stop me? Because I am on my own. I'm a woman. I choose the place wherever I choose to be. So I'm not going to be guided. And women who belong in all places where decisions are being made. That's what we have heard quite a lot today. And no man or no country, no land is good enough to govern any woman or any land without her consent or without her involvement. So such powerful women are we today gathered on this platform for this beautiful topic, along with Mahila Udhyami. So it's a greatest privilege to be here on this platform to talk about Mahila Udhyami and with the global vision of G20. So on that note, please allow me to share my screen. Thank you. Thank you, dear. My screen is visible, I think. Yes,
You can see it. Yeah.
you can see that. So
Yeah, so
today
now-
I'm here to present G20
Just
Empower
slide.
Alliance. Yeah, slideshow.
Okay.
Thank you. Along
Yeah.
with Mahila Udhyami objectives, how internship university have contributed to the success of this G20 Empower Alliance. So first, talking about G20 Empower Alliance, what are the objectives? Is accelerating women's economic leadership, which we are talking about it today across the globe from different parts of the globe. It was launched in 2019 with G20 Empower, with action-driven alliance between the governments and the private sectors across 28 member countries, with the aim to eliminate systemic barriers and provide women with leadership skills that were needed to navigate technologies and sustainability challenges and to ameliorate global economy. That was the objective. So what was carried away with the strategic mission and the priorities? Accelerate women in the private sector leadership, global entrepreneurship, and with the 3 pillars of progression. Anything without measure is not good. It's just little. So measuring progress, building talent pipelines, thereby bridging the gaps and addressing the technological skill and gaps which were required for the future. That's what the access comes in. So with the core focus of action, how we are going to bridge this gap is that education being the game-changing pathway, being the trailblazer there, prioritizing STEM education to significantly to increase women's earning capacities and workforce and participation. That's what Dr. Shruti Kulkarni was talking about when she was launching her website yesterday, and the whole thing. We can see it is more not in just talking about, it is in the process of it's not in the process of only education, but in the process of execution as well. With cross-cutting digital skilling, integrating digital fluency across all focus areas to ensure women lead a tech-driven economy. That's what Dr. Virginia is doing for Mahila Udhyami. Exactly, she is bringing all people from across the globe to talk about it. When you talk about it, more people get to know about it. We are able to involve people, collaborate, and start working together from the grassroots level to the local leadership wherever it is required. So when we do that, we need to start working with the governments and to bring in changes in the policies and the procedures. That's how things have been echoed over here in this platform and across the globe. And that's what G20 Empower is all about. That's how Mahila Udhyami with IIU has been contributing towards this objective. So when we go in detail through the strategic blueprint of women economic representation, in a global architectural framework for education, entrepreneurship, and the grassroots leadership under G20 Empower Alliance, bridging the global mandates to rural realities becomes the biggest challenge. And this is what Mahila Udhyami is trying to bridge from the global scale to the rural impact. With the global help, it is trying to bring an impact with the rural communities. So as we have seen, where it was launched between the 28 member nations in Japanese summit, this initiative, or we can call it as a movement or a momentum, has brought changes with the visionary initiative translating the global mandate to the rural India, partnering with all the countries through internal internship universities. That's what we are seeing it today live on our platform. So with the architectural pillars of empowerment, from the women entrepreneurship to the grassroots leadership and the education being the chain way, with the digital skilling and technological access, this was made possible with the education parity funnel, which we have, I think many of the people have presented it. So allow me to present before you. That is 49% of the member countries have achieved gender parity, drops to 42% in the member countries achieving in the threshold 2 with the lower, this is with the primary education, only with the primary education. With the lower secondary, it is dropping to 42. And with the upper secondary, it is dropping to 24% in the member countries achieving this parity. So what is required exactly is that, moreover, the most important thing that we need to look into is that 78.2 million out of school children globally, 54% of these are girls. So girls need to be educated. Girls should be sent to school, and then this will be able to, this is going to really sit rational. So adolescent girls expect to transition to work, face a limbo. What happens is, when they come out, when they become adolescent, they don't have the work skills. They don't have this, 4.0 skills or whatever thing, which are, they just grow up with inadequate skills. So STEM education specifically acts as the highest leverage intervention in the female earning capacity. That's what we are working about. So the scale of female entrepreneurship, which has got us report from GEM report of 2021 and through the ages, through the other years, through the Esther years, it has been said that 274 million involved in business startups. The changes which have happened, that's what is the thing. 139 have become million million have become owners and managers of the established businesses, and 144 million women who have become women investors. One of the other esteemed speaker, had already mentioned they are not going to be earners; they are going to be job givers. They're not going to be job seekers, but they're going to be job givers. So the takeaway is that the goal is not merely but the business, but scaling them with the differences. So how can we bridge this gap? With the governance gap from the local to the national and the national to the international, with the local deliberative bodies with 36 representation of 2.818 million women out of 6.2 million elected members. This is what we are talking about, the country representation. With the national parliaments, only 25% representation of women has been taken into consideration. And with the global context, only 20 countries have achieved 40% of representation in the local bodies, and 28 countries are somewhere between 30 to 40%. So what is required? Women's equal participation in the local decision making is a critical wedge for localizing the sustainable developmental goals, prioritizing the differential community needs. So how do we need to work with multiplying the grassroots effect? So women should be taken into consideration, that is increasing the overall labor force participation and public community access should be given, accelerating the digital and the financial inclusion with improving local nutrition and the health diverse delivery, and women in the local self-governance and self-groups will be working together will influence increase of the labor force participation and the public community access, enhancing the broader political and the public representation. If we do this, then there will be a holistic development, not only for the women development, but for the whole country involving, because the women will be working with men also. So there will be an equalization of the gender inequality. Definitely, this will help in a great deal. So when we do that, it will have a unified socio-economic engine with education and skills being implemented, creation of the foundation for the economic independence. Women build wealth and scale businesses where they are empowered, and they advocate for the community resources where leadership, they are involved in the better policies and the inclusive education, such that the holistic impact map is being created, dismantling the barriers via targeting working groups. That is, systemic barriers like lack of capital and market linkages are being managed with the financial inclusion and business acceleration, with the women entrepreneurship, bridging the gaps of the skills with the future-facing industries have been working with the working group on STEM and digital inclusion. Deficits of social worker capital and the networks have been managed with working group on mentorship, with the balance of gender dynamics and organizational ceilings in the C-suite level. Women working group on the corporate women empowerment have been focused on, with the delivery engine moving from promise to practice, measuring to improve, securing women talent pipeline, leading for future tech sustainability change challenges, with accountability on KPI dashboard, financial community and action playbook, and mentorship platform and digital fluency platform, issuing notes and talking about inspiring stories. So the role of G20 advocate, who will be able to do it with the CEOs, founders, and heads of institution, will be able to promote this vision within the sectors, with the commitment of joining a leading network and a commitment to the joint cause of equality. That is what Mahila Udhyami is and doing. We're attending events to strengthen alliances and members and peers. Our same platform on which we are discussing today is the best example of that. Broadcast communication via panels and social media, internal company policy. This is what is being taken care with all the posters and flyers. Provide input, share data, expert analysis, sharing best practices with the country representative. That's what we are doing today. And with the leverage and activating personal networks to pull additional experts and private sectors into the alliance. So today we are gathered today. Our job doesn't stop here. The next job is to collaborate, start working together. When we all start working together, this is easily going to be achieved. So measuring to improve, leading for the future, ensuring education, entrepreneurship, governance benefit women and men equally provides multiple compounding developing dividends. That's how this has been achieved, from equity from boardrooms to the grassroots level. So very easy way of doing it is, when you educate a girl, you educate a nation. So that's what UNICEF has as poster. So creating a global partnership for promoting women leadership is significant, because promoting participation in leadership in the women, local self-governance, self-help, self-groups and communities is crucial for the empowerment. And this can be the global roadmap for leveraging grassroots leadership towards holistic empowerment for women. So why do we need to do that? Why women are deprived of being educated? That's what we need to look into, because the advantages are more. The women empowerment, women education has its influences in improving nutrition and health delivery, promoting digital and financial inclusion, increasing women overall labor workforce participation, access to public amenities, promoting women in the government roles, and enhancing women in public and political sectors as well. So, as we have seen, how we are going to do it with the education. Education is the critical link between the women empowerment and the equal workforce. There are 78.2 million out of school children, or among those 54% are women. Specifically, educating in the area of science, technology, and engineering has a significant impact on women earning capacities. 49% of the member countries have achieved the gender parity in primary education. This is what we have seen. So, moving ahead, investing in education and skill development not only empowers women, but their families and communities. Ensuring that education benefits women and men equally, provide multiple development dividends, thus contributing towards the happiness index of the country. Can you believe it? Yes, it makes the whole country happy because the women are being educated, the homemaker is being educated, and she is taking this transformation beyond home to her community. Thus, women empowerment policies or initiatives and strategies aimed at promoting gender equality, enhancing the rights and opportunities, well-being of women in various aspects of life, including the social, economic, political, and cultural spheres. These policies should seek to address. How do we do that? Now we are looking into the policies. What are changes that we need to bring into the policies? These policies should seek to address the historical disadvantages and the discrimination that women have suffered, and they should aim to create more inclusive and equitable society. Here are some common areas covered by women empowerment policies.
One more minute.
Okay. Empowerment policies vary from country to country, so it has to be taken care. So some of the policies that we need to work on is the violence prevention, media and culture, social service, technological innovation, and capacity building. Where some of the policies which are already implemented, as example, I would like to mention some quota systems are there. We need to enhance them. Equal pay legislation is there. Maternity and paternity leave policies are there. Microfinance programs are there. Gender responsive budgeting is there. Safe space and shelters are there. Girls' education initiatives are there, legal reforms policies are there, skill development systems are there, awareness campaigns are there, health access policies are there, anti-sexual harassment laws are there, community-based initiatives are there, rural development programs are there, ICT access is there, women entrepreneurship support is needed, legal aid and support services is needed, political training and leadership programs are required, gender responsive health services are required, women to work in STEM is required. Some of the examples which I would like to take from India is that in India, with the Prime Minister's vision and mission, women-led development as reflected in the national flagship programs like Mission Shakti. These are the examples I would like to take from India. Saksham Anganwadi, Poshan 2.0, National Rural Livelihood Mission, Jan Dan Yogna, Mudra, Startup India, Skill India, thus creating a global partnership for women from the grassroots level, from the leadership to across the grassroots level. Here are some of the few examples that we have taken from across the globe. Care International is there. How you want to collaborate, how you want to contribute to that, you can become a member of these organizations where you will be able to contribute towards the women empowerment. Care International, Plan International, Women for Women International, Pekenya's Dream Project of Kenya, Global Fund for Women across, and V-Day, it's a 1 billion raising campaign in various countries, Room to Read, He for She, Afghan Women Network, Rural Women Network in Nepal. And remember, these NGOs and the projects are just a representation of many organizations and who are working on women empowerment globally. Their efforts span a wide range of issues, and they operate in diverse cultural, social, economic contexts, and they're all achieving in women empowerment, like Mahila Udhyami. So today we have come onto this platform. Coming together is only a beginning. Staying together is process. Working together is success. So let us all work together with the great initiatives of Mahila Udhyami with IIU. The key aspects with Mahila Udhyami with IIU collaboration, which has started in 2026, with the empowerment of the business cap, Mahila Udhyami works to build infrastructure that provides rural development, rural women with education, training, and economic opportunities. With the Visionary Women Awards of 2026 in collaboration collaboration with IIU, this initiative has awarded and recognized women who demonstrated their leadership and impact of iconic women, visionary women in 2026. Again, with global conferences like this, Mahila Udhyami has impacted with many global virtual conferences, such as Empowerment is Not Enough and moved beyond inspiration and total systemic changes that has empowered women across the globe. With the focus on evolution, with the co-founder of Dr. Virginia, Mahila Udhyami has represented steady, unstoppable rise of women, families, and the women towards dignity, opportunity, and leadership. So, with the support and recognition, the funds are raised by this initiative to support the Mahila Udhyami Across Foundation Building Fund and recognize with the leaders receiving global acknowledgement and spotlights. And this is being transformed. This has helped to transform numerable lives, n number of lives across the globe. And hats off to you, Dr. Virginia. And as before, I would like to conclude, coming together is only a beginning. Staying together is a process. Working together is success. So let's all put our hearts, mind, and soul together to start working with Mahila Udhyami and make this initiative a grand success. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I would like to take this moment to thank Dr. Piyush Pandit for giving this wonderful opportunity to share my small insights about the women empowerment, and also Dr. Sruti Kulkarni for all your consistent support. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the speakers who have joined on this platform with me today. I have always cherished this moment to be here on this platform because I know that this day, this moment is so very dear to me, as to each one of you, to celebrate women's success. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Srividhya. It was so important to have you here in this incredible global roundtable. And I want to thank you for taking the time to really show. I mean, I could never, ever not be disappointed. I mean, you're always bring it, and you bring so much wealth of information. So thank you again. And we definitely have to dedicate another session to all the projects that you do bring to us. So thank you, Dr. Srividhya, for that insightful and super inspiring contribution. But most importantly, you bring perspective that reminds us that when knowledge is guided by purpose, transformation becomes possible. And the fact that you brought how to bridge global mandates to our global realities gives us a little window to what we really need to start thinking, how we need to position ourselves. Women need to insert themselves. We don't wait. We insert ourselves. And if we're not invited, we create. And I think this is very important. The latest numbers from the UNESCO, and it's something that you said, we have 274 million children out of school at this moment because of the conflict zone. So think about the repercussions in 10 years because of conflict zones. I also want to reiterate that countries that are led by women do not enter in these type of conflicts. So we really need to continue to insert ourselves in every area of the world. So thank you again for this presentation. Thank you for presenting the G20 acceleration and what is important, and also for showing us the big picture of what India is trying to accomplish. I really, really am humbled, and thank you so much for bringing that to us. So now it is thank you, Dr. Schmidt. Now it is my pleasure to welcome a powerful voice in women's entrepreneurship and leadership. I think it's probably the first time we've invited her to our segment and to our platforms, but she has been in mine for almost 10 years. She is a woman that truly believes in women inserting themselves through entrepreneurship. And in our NGO in the United States and in Puerto Rico, we believe that entrepreneurship is the vehicle for women to attain the financial autonomy that is needed to lead an autonomous life. So I want to bring Mariangi Rosario. She's a director for Mujer Emprende Latina in the United States. She represents not a movement, but a force of change that has been empowering women to rise, to build, and lead with confidence and vision. Mariangi, we are so honored to have you here with us today. The virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Virginia. It is my pleasure to know all of you. I have been hearing about you for many, many times, so I'm very glad and honored to be today with you and just share a little bit about my experience through the past 25 years with women empowerment. And well, I wanted to begin letting you know that we are right here not talking about imposing anything. We are not talking about competing. We are not talking about displacing anyone. We are talking about women who recognize their value, who understand who are there, her identity, and the clarity of our purpose. These three things have been the base, the fundamental of what we have been doing for the past 25 years through the media, talking to the woman about how to conquer the world with herself. Empowerment is inside of each and every one of us. Empowerment is when our women stop asking permission to anyone and begins to walk in the authority and in the power that she already have inside of her. And it is when we stop shrinking to fit into small spaces, and when we begin choosing to grow into the space that rightfully belongs to us. And it is when our voices stop trembling and begin to speak. I am very aligned with everything that all of you said today, but particularly with Martinez, because I do have been working with the fundamental of the identity, the value, and the purpose of the woman as anything that we need to conquer the world, definitely. But it is when we just take control and the authority of our voices that we are going to begin making the changes that this world needs to do, when we know ourselves as this piece of fundamental value to everything in the world. For me, empowerment, as I told you, has born inside of us. It begins with the connection, the reconnection of our identity, and the world needs to know that there is a power that has been already been deposited in each of us, and it's not a power that the world give us. It's a power that the world has not been able to take away from us, and we need to understand that. When you know who you are, when you know how to express yourself and to share with the world your value, the world is going to begin to change. The authority that we have carried is going to make changes in the world. And we need, in the changes that we need to do, is that not only we understand who we are, but make people who accept, embrace, and understand what we carry to this world. We need a culture that does not merely tolerate a woman. It's a culture where accept and celebrate that woman. And that begins with us. We bring vision to the SNRE, we bring empathy, we bring resistance, we bring unique capacity to live, sustain, and multiply everything that we have. And when that powers aligns with a society that recognizes us, the result is not just individual growth, but the result is going to be a collective transformation to the world. We have been talking today about amazing things, statistics, economic growth, and everything that we need, but I do believe that everything begins inside of us. And I wanted to reconnect us, every woman right here, reconnect us with that main value that we have and the way that we should share that value with others. The true foundation of a woman's power is not external. It's rooted in our identity, in our value, and our inner clarity of the purpose. And I will not be tired to share these three steps for each and every one of us, that remember every day what we had been accomplished to be here in this world. Because all of us, no matter how much we had a scale, how many success we have done, how many people we have reached, we as women have challenges. Every day we have challenges, and we need every morning to remind ourselves who we are and why we are here. Empowerment does not stop inside, it must be expressed. And that is where our voices are important to be raised, and our desires to conquer and accomplish and be part and position of every seat in the world, in governments, in our houses, in our works, in our companies and businesses, in our politics. Everywhere needs the voice of a woman. So knowing who we are and expressing and putting that voice outside is going to be my solution, the solution that I bring to this table today, to continue positioning the woman and continue empowering women around the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariachi. Oh, no, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you for the work that you do every single day, the work that you do through Mujer Emprende Latina. But you know, it's the impact that you have and you create with people. You're helping women recognize their authority, own their voice, and stop shrinking in spaces they were always meant to lead. We were always meant to lead. I think this is really important. We sort of forget that. We were created to lead. And for some reason, somebody was afraid of us, you know, the power of women coming together. And they decided to bury us, but they did not know that we were seeds. And we blew. And we are here. So thank you, Marianji, for that impactful information. Short, sweet, and straight to the point. Because it's not just about empowerment. That's not the word anymore. This is about transformation, not our transformation. We know who we are. It's about how we insert ourselves to create a new world, a world that we all need to live in. And now it is my honor to introduce a woman who embodies resilience, advocacy, and purpose. Jeanette Mata is the founder of Unbreakable Woman. And if you haven't joined, please look us up or look her up, but I'm part of her group on social media. She is the leader and also the creator of the NGO Miel y Canela. And she's a true human rights champion, has dedicated her life to standing for those whose voices must be heard, but are usually voiceless. So, Jeanette Mata, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you, Virginia, and thank you, all of you. It's I'm so excited to be on this platform, part of this forum, because one thing that I see and that I know that is going to resonate with each one of you is that every time, no matter how many times we get together, we always learn more and more and more about each other. And that is, you know, and we empower each other every time we speak, no matter how many years have gone by that we know each other. There's always something, one word, one action, something that we learn and we enrich each other. So I wanted to mention and piggyback on something that Ms. Martina said. And it's just that just last week, so under the umbrella of Miel y Canela Foundation, I have an accredited institute, which is the International Institute of Leadership and Strategic Management. And just last Saturday, I gave a certified training on exactly what you mentioned. And it's called The Presence of Power. The Presence of Power is strategic influence, global governance, and diplomatic, diplomatic leadership. And it's about that. It's about the presence. It's about not what you say, but how it lands. So when you were speaking, I was saying, oh my God, that's exactly one of my certified trainings that I gave. So, and Mariangeli also, something that Virginia knows that, and everyone that knows me, I always say that we women, we are not here to compete, but to complete. You know, we are here to complete each other. This thing with, you know, this stigma of competence, of jealousy or whatever. No, because I always say that, you know, the first heartbeat of humanity, it happens inside of us. You know, that first heartbeat is inside of us. I mean, that to me is something so grandiose. And so we need to embrace that and respect that of each other and embrace each other, because we came from that heartbeat. Each one of us is that heartbeat. So thank you anyway, because I'm so excited about everything that I've heard, and Virginia knows that, you know, she stuck with me. So, but anyway, so I stand before you today, not only as a speaker, but as a voice of a global movement that I created called Unbreakable Women. Women who have learned that strength is not the absence of adversity, but the decision to rise anyway. And I do not speak about resilience as a concept. I speak about it as a woman who has had to rebuild herself more than once. And so today, I come to repeat what we already know. I don't come to repeat what we already know. I come to challenge how far we are willing to go. Because somewhere along the way, we became comfortable with conversations that sound powerful, but do not always produce power. We have mastered resilience, but resilience without positioning keeps women surviving in systems that were never meant to remain beneath. We speak of leadership, but we don't always redesign the spaces where leadership is exercised. And this is where the real work begins, because the question is no longer, are women capable? That question has been answered over and over again. The real question is, are the systems around them prepared to recognize, include, and elevate that capability? Because capability without access stalls. Vision without structure fades. And potential, no matter how extraordinary, cannot expand in environments that were never designed to support it. So what we are being called into now, it's not a continuation, is a redefinition. A redefinition of what leadership looks like, a redefinition of how opportunity is created, and most importantly, a redefinition of how women are positioned, not at the margins of progress, but at the center of it. Because when a woman is positioned correctly, something powerful happens. She stops navigating limitations and starts creating pathways. She stops adapting to systems and begins reshaping them. Empowerment gave women a voice, but positioning is what gives that voice power. And that shift from participation to influence is where transformation truly begins. This is why our work cannot stop at preparation. Preparation is important, but preparation alone is not power. Power is created when preparation meets access, alignment, and opportunity. And that requires intentional design. It requires leaders who are willing to ask these three questions. Who is not in the room? Who has not been given access? And what must we build differently to change them? But I'm sorry, because inclusion is not an idea, it is a structure. And if we are serious about impact, global impact, then we must move beyond symbolic progress and into systemic transformation. That means creating ecosystems where women are not navigating alone, but are upheld, connected, and positioned to lead at scale. It means ensuring that leadership is not something women are invited into, but something they are equipped to sustain. Because when that happens, we don't just see individual success. We see communities strengthen, economies expanded, and a new standard of leadership emerge. So today, I leave you with this. Let us not measure progress by how many voices are heard, but by how many voices are positioned to influence. Let us not celebrate presence alone, but ensure that there is power behind that presence. Because the future we are building demands more than participation. It demands leadership that is intentional, structured, and unapologetically impactful. And the women who will lead that future, they are already here. They are already ready. They are not waiting to be chosen. They are ready to be positioned. And that responsibility belongs to us. So let us not leave with inspiration. Let us leave with intention, because the next era of leadership will not be requested. It will be claimed, and it will be led by unbreakable women. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, my dear Jeanette. Today we heard this powerful voice. I am so happy that you feel better. I have to say, Jeanette was overcoming some health issues, and I see you so powerful and so strong. So continue, please take care. Everybody take care of yourselves. Every single one of you is an important part of what we're doing. We heard voices, powerful voices from across the world, but this conversation does not end here. As we come to a close to this gathering, we do not want to end it, but we need to do it with a shift, a mind shift, a shift in how we think, a shift in how we lead, and most importantly, a shift in how we are willing to build. This is very important because empowerment alone will not change systems. We already know that. We see it. How many of us are not empowered already? And we're still here and we're still seeing the same things happen. It comes with access, with infrastructure, with action. And action can be anything. Action, just get up of where you're at in your comfort zone. Nothing grows in our comfort zone. Nothing. To every speaker who shared today, not just your knowledge, but you also shared your truth, I want to thank you. This is a safe zone. You can say anything here. To those who brought global insight, thank you, Dr. Srividhya. Lived experiences, I think every single one of you. Innovation, like Elena spoke, let's think about wealth in a different way. And courage. Thank you for bringing it into the space. You have not just contributed to our conversation, you have elevated it. And I really, really do believe that this roundtable is needed. I want you to watch it again. And I wanted to share it with the people that you know. Because next time we have a roundtable, I want 300 women participating. Today, we're reminded of something very clear. Empowerment is not enough. I think you might think you're an empowerment advocate. It's just not enough. Because empowerment without access fades, empowerment without systems limits every single one of us. And empowerment without structure excludes. And what we have seen is exclusion in every set of the word. And what new framework should we bring in, like Jeanette said? Inclusion. And this is where Mahila Udhyami stands, boldly and apologetically. And I want to say that Mahila Udhyami was inspired by Mujer Emprende Latina, which started in 2016, 10 years ago, by 5 crazy women that believed, as executives of different companies, that we needed to create our own space, that we should not wait for people to give us an opportunity, that we deserve to seize the moment. And that is why I'm so proud of the 4 women that joined me in Mujer Emprende Latina. And then this other crazy person in Orlando joined us. And she said, I'm in. And the truth is that we've been doing this with heart and soul. And I arrive into India and I'm like, why can't we do it here? India is the most populated country in the world. We have more women there than anywhere else. Workforce, there's so much to do. And youth. And it's not youth of age, although theirs is youth of age. It's youth of mentality, of wanting to do more. And before we leave today, we have been joined by somebody that since I started on these platforms has really always moved me. She's clear, she's succinct, and I know she's going to be very, very short today, but I don't want to miss what she has to say because I always learn with her. So let's welcome Dr. Ambassador Maureen Mia from South Africa. Maureen, the virtual podium is all yours.
Hi, thank you so much, my dear sister Virginia. Lovely to be here, and I do apologize. I was on, not sure exactly what happened, got kicked off, tried and got back in, and then wasn't visible, and then went back off and came back again. But you know what? Isn't that just the essence of what we do as empowered women? We just persevere until we get through. That's exactly what this was about. So thank you so much for having me and giving me the chance again. Yes, I'm not going to take too long. The speakers that I did hear were exceptional. And like I always say, when we have these events, we don't just listen, we have takeaways that us as empowered women actually take away to activate, not just to take and sit with. Today's topic was so huge, and I think more for me because I'm all about action and word. I'm all about empowerment, not just for power. I'm about when we try to empower women, this misperception of being empowered means I have power over. It's the question mark after the word over. What do you have power over? And it is not that I have power over other people. It is not that I am better than the next. It is not that I am more equipped to compete even more. It is that I am empowered so much that I'm finding and growing to the best of me every day. And to find that best of me is not where there's a best of me and it's a stop. It's no full stop after that. It is your journey to becoming better daily. And that means I have to be so strong that I can be honest enough about me. I can be honest enough with myself to say, you know what, I did not like this about me today. Honest with myself to be able to listen when somebody is pointing out a fault of mine and listen to understand that that is not just an attack on me. That might be something that I might need to know. So very often we don't like that. We don't like that discomfort that the truth about us comes up with. And we try to actually cut off a tie with somebody who wants to show us that falsity about us or the negativity about us. That's something we need to shift, because you as an empowered woman means I'm empowered enough to need that. And I'm empowered enough to also know. I'll be able to know, because let me tell you one of the things I learned about me in my empowered space. My gut feeling is always my empowered lifeline. And when I don't listen to my gut very often, I actually realize that too late. And it will be that instinct that will say to me, oh my gosh, but I did know I shouldn't have listened to that. I knew I shouldn't have done that. And then I'm like, so why didn't I listen to me? That's where the key comes in. So even when somebody is giving you that negativity about you, you will automatically feel the energy within you to know, should I even bother about this or should I not? You will know it instinctively and you will know whether to act on it or not. Listen to you, because you are your own powerhouse already. You're born with that trait as a woman. And very often we, throughout our life's journey, because of the pains we endure or whatever it is we endure, we forget and we just give in to what life gives us until we're given no hope other than, you know what, just sit there or be paralyzed or be in a bed for a little while until you learn the lesson of how to grow you. And that is why every one of us who are on the platform today, I believe, has our own narrative. And through our narratives, we learned our power struggles. We learned through them and we became the empowered beings we are because of those pains, because of those narratives we share. So that truth about who we are has to keep building. And that truth about who we are, we have to be proud of. So when we want to speak your truth that is in essence something you went through that was negative, it's okay to do that, because somebody out there needs to learn your negative truths, to learn they can get through it too. So empowerment is not just about being that enough. There's never enough. You got to keep learning, keep growing. That lifelong learner inside you has to keep becoming. That woman of purpose has to keep growing. So knowing you, knowing what your traits are that can be better, whether it's a business venture, whether it's you who want to start out on your own, if you know you can do it, why do you want to stop you? And very often, I'm gonna end with this, I promise. Very often, us as women, we really create our own barriers for ourselves. We do. I've done it many a time, as Sister Virginia would know. There was a time when I was my own obstacle. I was. And that was at a time when I was at my peak too. So I was between the both. I was at my peak across the world, and yet I was my own obstacle to the world too. So you can actually sometimes become your own worst nightmare. And sometimes it takes you to be very honest with yourself to realize, oh my gosh, I'm actually stopping myself from growing. And then take the 2 steps back that are needed. Do the introspection that is necessary, because yes, empowerment is not enough. You being real is what is enough. And that enough has to keep growing, because that is how you become more empowered day by day. The more empowered you are, the more you will conquer this world that it needs more women to conquer. So thank you so much again, Virginia. Thank you to every one of you who are powerhouses, and may we grow in the sisterhood that we can develop so that we can empower each other whenever we need to, be the shoulder we need to be there for each other, because too often still, unfortunately, we do have the sisterhoods out there who are not willing to just shift the crown and be quiet. They still want to talk about how I had to shift that woman's crown. So we need to find the true sisterhoods that are not wanting to do that, wanting to still build on each other and help each other grow. And that's where we stay true to that empowerment that we have to have. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maureen Mia. As you all saw, this is the reason why I'm a fan of Dr. Maureen and why I have believed in her from day one. I think she saw me through technology, because I've never met her, but Dr. Maureen saw me. And I think that what she just said, and I don't think I own what I'm going to say right now, self-awareness is number one. And the truth is that everybody can see things in you, but you need to see it in yourself. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I have to say that when I first started going to India and that tiny little window of opportunity became a huge double door, people questioned everything about me. Are you crazy? Are you bored? Are you just one of those women that doesn't know what else to do? They didn't understand that I was listening to my own calling, to my own purpose, that I have lived enough to realize that this is exactly where I need to be. And when I decided to extend Mujer Emprende Latina and make it into Mahila Udhyami in India, they were like, why? You are so successful here. You have so much to do here. And I was like, no, I know that I have to move. I know that my job is not only here. And I accepted the responsibility that comes when being very uncomfortable. Because right now with the conflict, I was stuck for 2.5 more weeks in a country that I love and adore, but it wasn't mine. So I had to put all my clients on hold because I needed to stay safe. But I needed to be in India when I did. So, if there's something that is so big that you can't see yourself, ask somebody else to believe in it with you, because it is your responsibility. And if you don't do it, nobody else will. It's your contribution to the world. So thank you, Dr. Maureen, for really bringing that to us. And I'm so glad that you ended our roundtable, bringing it all back to us and what our responsibilities are, and that we should not be afraid. And if it scares you, wonderful. There's something that we say in Spanish in Mujer Emprende Latina. It's like, and if you have fear, do it with fear. And if you're scared, do it scared. You will still do it. So here in Mahila Udhyami, I am opening a foundation, $15,000 miles from my home. I wish it was only $15,000 more. No, 15,000 miles from my home. And I do it boldly, and I do it unapologetically. But let me tell you, people have questioned this so much. Mahila Udhyami is not another program. It's another initiative. It's a disruptive force rewriting the narrative. And I think this is where we all come in. We need to rewrite that narrative. Like Martina said, like Marianji said, words are powerful, but it's not only words, is that is going to translate into action, because if it's just words, it's the action behind the words that really does something. So in Mahila Udhyami, We're creating a new model where women are not positioned as beneficiaries, but as infrastructure. This is really novel. This is not intervention. Oh, poor women. Oh, let's start another group to help them out. No, 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 no. This is really recognizing the force and the power that women have, where access is not a privilege for just a few, but a system that we are part of the design. We need to position ourselves as the designers, where economic empowerment is not a concept, but something measurable and living, and it's a reality. Mahila Udhyami is building what has been missing, a bridge between potential and power. And the power we're talking about is not the power about shrinking others. It's actually transforming us into transforming communities, economies, and futures. Today we heard 90% of what a woman brings to the household in finances, she invests in her family and community. 90%. Contrary to our counterparts. And Mahila Udhyami, this is what we're building. Not programs, not ideas, but systems. Because women are not, like I said before, intervention. I am so tired of the, oh yes, women need. Yes, we need, but let's take it. Let's create it. And we're not invited. This is our moment. This is our moment. Don't wait for an invitation. Create what you want. I love Shruti. Shruti said, here in India, women are not talking enough about AI. So I'm going to create something for this. And I applaud you, my dear sister. This is wonderful. Because thanks to this way of thinking, of self-awareness, of filling our own shoes and occupying the space that we were given by a divine force. I believe in God, you believe in whoever you want. But I know that I wasn't positioned here by accident. My God makes no mistakes. Our God makes no mistakes. So if you're here, embrace who you are. Embrace the responsibility behind you. I need you to do that. I need you to step in. So be part of Mahila Udhyami. This is a real, not movement, force of change. And it's all for us, for every single one, for our kids, for future generations, for 274 million kids that are not in school today. Because people decided to fight. Over what? Over what is natural, what belongs to every single one of us. So let's occupy our space. Let's take back what is ours and share it with the world. It's coming out of love and generosity. Never, ever out of jealousy or being envious or from a negative space. Everything we do comes from love. So thank you, every single one of you, for being here today. I truly believe in every single one of what you are doing. You're all marching to your own drum, and I love it. But let's all have our orchestra at the end together. Love you. Take care. And I hope to see you again in our next roundtable. Thank you all. Thank you, IIU. Thank you, Advocate Piyush Pandit. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you
Namaste.
for having me. Thank you. I learned so much today.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.